was plunged into darkness. It began with small signs: crops failing in one region, droughts in another, famine creeping across borders in places where it had never been before. It seemed like the world was waking up to a nightmare, but no one truly knew how deep that darkness would go. Over time, hunger spread like a virus. It wasn't just about food. It was about survival, about dignity, about human lives that were slowly slipping through the cracks of a broken system. Entire continents fell into despair as the basic needs of human life became luxuries that fewer and fewer could afford. Millions of people were standing at the very edge of existence. Their lives were hanging by a thread. Hope faded, and with it, the light that had once illuminated the future. Instead, there were empty stares, vacant eyes that had witnessed too much suffering to believe in miracles. The whispers of prayers were all that remained, as the world seemed to lose its way. And then he appeared, a man who, for many, seemed to embody the very essence of possibility: Elon Musk. Here was a man who could have chosen the easy path. With his wealth, his accomplishments, his fame, he could have easily retired into comfort, living out his days in luxury. He had already achieved so much: revolutionized space travel, transformed electric cars, and paved the way for a future of renewable energy. But Elon Musk chose not to rest on his laurels. He chose to face the greatest challenge of them all: the hunger that was ravaging the planet. "If no one is going to solve this problem, then I will solve it myself," he said. He spoke not with arrogance, but with a cold, unwavering confidence that cut through the noise of the world's chaos. There was no fear in his eyes. Instead, there was a deep belief, a belief that one person with enough determination and the right tools could change the world. And for the first time in a long time, people started to believe too. While the world obsessed over grand visions like colonizing Mars, Musk turned his attention to something even more urgent, more immediate, something that couldn't wait for years or decades to solve. His focus was on feeding the planet, today, right now, while millions were on the brink of starvation. He brought together the best minds, the brightest scientists, engineers, agronomists, and innovators from across the globe. The plan was audacious, even reckless in the eyes of some. Could technology truly solve a problem this vast? Could innovation replace centuries of tradition? Using solar energy to produce synthetic food on a mass scale? That's impossible, many said. And yet, Musk's voice rang clear. Let's make the impossible possible. A bold declaration, a call to arms. The idea behind the project, called Solar Feast, was simple, yet revolutionary. Harness the power of solar energy to produce food in ways the world had never seen. They used cutting-edge technology to generate food through advanced biotechnology, creating nutrient-dense synthetic crops that could be grown without soil, water, or the need for traditional farming methods. It was an innovation that took the agricultural industry and the world by surprise. Within 6 months, the Solar Feast project provided food for more than 10 million people. 10 million lives saved, 10 million second chances. People who had given up on ever seeing a full meal again found themselves nourished and hopeful once more. The impact was immediate, transformative, and undeniable. "We thought it was the end," an elderly woman said with a tear in her eye. "And then their machines arrived, and a new life began." It wasn't just food they received. It was the spark of hope, the belief that things could get better. It was a reminder that even in the darkest moments, change could come, and with it, a chance for a future. When asked, "Why did you do it?" Musk gave his signature answer: "Because I have the ability. And that means I have the responsibility." It was that sense of responsibility that drove him. He understood that wealth, power, and influence came with a duty to others. And so he poured all his energy, his resources, his vision into solving this problem, not for profit, but for the greater good of humanity. But as often happens when someone dares to challenge the status quo, resistance arose. Not everyone welcomed the solution. As Solar Feast grew and flourished, powerful corporations whose profits depended on traditional agriculture began to mobilize against Musk. They saw their market share shrinking, their business models crumbling under the weight of innovation. Musk is destroying the traditional agricultural market, they shouted. He's undermining our way of life. But Musk didn't back down. He didn't retreat into the shadows. Instead, he pushed forward, accelerating the production of Solar Feast. He didn't just rely on centralized food production. He deployed autonomous drones to distribute food directly to the people, creating a global network of food delivery systems that could reach the most remote areas of the world. Through these systems, technology didn't just improve lives, it saved lives. People who had once been invisible to the world, forgotten by society, now had food delivered to their doorsteps, wherever they lived. Hunger began to retreat, inch by inch. Communities that had once been torn apart by famine were now thriving. And for the first time in a long time, people were looking up instead of down. They could dream of a better future. Elon Musk proved that a single person, driven by purpose, backed by innovation, and powered by a vision for a better world, could indeed change the fate of the planet. "This is just the beginning," Musk said one day, standing against the backdrop of a sprawling solar farm, the sun setting behind him. "If we can defeat hunger, we can overcome other challenges. If we can take on this, we can take on anything." And today, years after his first step, we see the truth in those words. Elon Musk didn't just solve a problem. He created a movement. He showed the world that when faced with an impossible challenge, we don't have to wait for someone else to solve it. We can rise, we can act, and we can make the impossible possible. And that is a message we all need to remember, because when the world faces another crisis, another challenge, there will be someone who steps up, someone who is not afraid to stand up for humanity. And that person, just like Elon Musk, will not back down. He will stand strong, guided by the belief that when we work together, we can change the world. And that person just might be you.